Hey, buddy. I'm driving. Just want to talk to you a bit. Hopefully this works and it's not too loud. I want to tell you about the time. I guess I went to boot camp, and the first time your grandfather, I guess, was there for me. Me and your grandfather, we didn't. What's the word I'm looking for? We didn't really have a relationship growing up. And when you're young and, well, forgive me, immature, you can't see all the sacrifices that, well, our parents make for us. And now that I'm older, I can see that he did sacrifice a lot, and I love him and I appreciate him for it. And it was just the way it was meant to be. So let me tell you about why you shouldn't really give up on someone. So I was going to join the Navy, and your grandfather was all about it. And I made it all the way till about, I think, a couple of weeks before I was supposed to leave. And well, the Blue Angels came by, signed, and everyone did everything. I looked at the Marine. I was like, wow, I'm going to be a Marine. I went to the Marine recruiter. I was like, hey, so I'm currently joining the Navy. Is there any way I could join the Marines? And he smiled and said, oh, yeah. So, and that happened. And so I didn't get to have one of those after high school, I guess, midlife crises. I simply waited a couple of weeks. I think I had to wait like a mandatory 30 days, and I was gone. I left on July 16th, exactly 2 weeks after my birthday, on my 19th birthday. And you may ask why I was so old when I graduated. Well, when your grandfather was stationed in Japan, I went to a Japanese school, and their school year is, well, it's a year and a half long, so it kind of set me back a bit, if you know what I mean. If that was the case, I would have graduated in 2010, but all things work out how they're supposed to work out, son. So I go, and I wasn't scared till the day before I left. I remember sitting in my room upstairs at my desk. I didn't really talk to a lot of people growing up. I always kept to myself. I just felt like it was just easier that way. But yeah, I left, and we went with the whole guys from New York, Georgia, New Hampshire, and I think a couple Floridians. And there's another state. It may have been Alabama. So we go, and we get on these white vans, and we just drive. And before you get to boot camp, they stopped at I think it was Golden Corral, and they just told us eat as much as you want. And my boy, I should have listened, but I ate, and then we got on the vans. And then as you get closer to South Carolina, it starts to creep up on you as you realize, oh man, this is real. There's no going away now. I may have made a mistake. And I remember before we left, or before we got there, the driver stopped and gave cigarettes to people who smoked. Said, hey, if you're going to smoke, do it now. And they smoked, and then we went. And it's just nothing but a swamp, son. It is a swamp. We get to the gate, and this first Marine I've seen, I guess, there, he yells at us and says, put our heads down and look around. You know what we did, son? We put our heads down and we didn't look around, which is pretty funny because nobody would have seen us. And then we keep going, and then we get to, I guess it's called receiving, and there's these yellow footprints. Son, I will never step on yellow footprints again. But you stand there. Well, we didn't stand there yet. We were just sitting in front of the gate, and you could hear the drill instructors just screaming at us like they're going to kill us, and we're theirs and theirs. And I swear we sat in those vans for a couple of hours, but it felt like minutes. And then eventually the doors opened, and that was it. They were quite literally pulling us up and throwing us out, and then we stood in straight lines with, I think, our little manila folders in our hands for a couple hours till everybody showed up. And then when they all showed up, it just kind of went downhill from there. And and at the time, it's not fun, but looking back, they're pretty fun memories because it doesn't matter what generation of a Marine you are. We all have that unique shared trauma that bonds us. Trying to think what else happened, buddy. So we'll do those stories some other time. But at the very end, you have to do what's called a crucible, and it's 3 days of hell, son. It really is just hell. And at the very end, you do this very long hike, and I was in Delta Company, so we were by ourselves at the range, and there weren't really any witnesses or people, and we just kept doing loops. That's all I remember, is just doing loops. I put my fingers in front of the guy's his backpacks, belt loops. So if I fell, at least he'd have the common courtesy to drag me on my face so I could wake up. And so we did the hike. My feet were bleeding. They hurt, man. They hurt. They were like 2 times their size. And I just remember when we made the final curve, people in the very front, and they start singing. And there's something about it. You feel like, I don't know, you get all your energy back. And you'll learn in life that when you think you're tired, there's so much more in you than you realize you have. Because when you're really tired, well, son, you'll just be dead. This is just the truth. So as we go and we make this turn, I just remember looking up saying, well, God, I did it. I mean, with you and by myself. Didn't have anyone. But I did it, God. And we turn and there's a sign that says, we make Marines. And it's like a memory core. And I look up and I see this guy standing there with his hands on his hips. And I'm like, at first I think I'm delusional. And I hate to say it, son, but you're so tired, you do hallucinate. But yeah, it was your grandpa. And I just remember there going, that's my dad. And I must have stopped a moment because this guy behind me, name was Moody, he pushed me and said, keep going. I was like, that's my dad. And I'm crying. And that was like the first time I felt like I genuinely loved him. He was there for me. And when you become a Marine, it's like a private ceremony. They did make ours into a commercial, which I hopefully will find it for you at some point if you want to see it. But he was there. We're all sitting there crying. We looked like we had just survived the Tet Offensive. We all had our hats, they call them covers, closed down so we could people couldn't see our tears. And then you walk around. Well, you stand there. It's the same people who like abused you for 3 months walk by, and they give you what's called an Eagle Globe and Anchor, and they put it in your hands, and then it's surreal. You become a Marine. Then you stand up front and you raise your right hand, and well, you say the oath, and then you're a Marine, and then you'll just carry that the rest of your life, no matter what. I remember that I couldn't talk to him. Oh yeah, your uncle was there as well, so that was also pretty cool. And the next day, or maybe later that day, it's hard to tell, so I'm getting old. You get a few hours to yourself, and the first thing I wanted was a real cheeseburger. And I walked, and I just happened to see my dad and my uncle. And then I ran up to him, and I saluted him because he was an officer in the Navy, and then I gave him a big hug. Then he saw me destroy a cheeseburger in seconds. So I just want to let you know, son, that sometimes in life, the people that you think that will never be there for you will surprise you. And yeah, it's the little things in life that will make you so happy. Your worst moments in life will weirdly enough sometimes be your best moments. And your best moments you may not remember. Because as we go through life and, well, it gets hard to appreciate things. And it's hard to see them in perspective. And as life goes by, I think of all the arguments and all the terrible things that happen. And some of them, they don't seem that big. A lot of the challenges in life that I thought I wasn't going to make it through, which we can go over those when you're older, or maybe later in different videos. You'll see that, yeah, be your memories and lessons. And I love you. And whatever choice you make in life, just know that I was proud of you the moment you were born. And every day that I got to see you grow up was surreal. And, well, I know you'll be fine, son. Until I see you again, buddy. Bye.